finally over. We have arrived on the final day of the Make the Case competition. On behalf of Commitments Accelerator for Plastic Pollution, Goa Institute of Management, Ocean Recovery Alliance, and the Indian Plastic Institute, I extend a warm welcome to our distinguished judges, eminent panelists, our sponsor, Chelaram Foundation, other dignitaries who have joined us and will be joining us, and of course to our beloved students. We are indeed honored to share that two of the reviewers in the round two of the judging of case studies were from the governments of Fiji and Curacao. We had Joshua Wycliffe, the Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Waterways and Environment from the Government of Fiji, and from Curacao, we had Vanessa Tor, Director of the Foreign Economic Cooperation Division of the Ministry of Economic Development. And we are extremely happy and pleased to say that Vanessa ma'am is here with us. Well, of course, it's 6:30 in our morning, but she has joined us. So thank you so much, Vanessa ma'am. Make the Case competition began its journey last year in November 2020. When we started, it was certainly not the best of times. But given the humanitarian crisis, it was also a time for us to think about how to build a better society, a society which is aligned with the goals of sustainable development. The competition had as its aim at showcasing the high impact initiatives already which have been implemented in India and are committed towards reducing plastic waste in the country. The purpose of the competition were to educate students about these high impact initiatives, to create a space for highlighting the good practices of diverse group of stakeholders in the country who are doing brilliant work, and most importantly, to deliberate upon the scope of scalability, replicability, and sustainability of these initiatives. So to start the event for the day, we will start the event with a brief introduction of the competition, which will be provided by Mr. Atul Kumar Kanuga. This would be followed by the presentation of case studies by 6 teams. We then have a very interesting panel discussion. And after the panel discussion, which actually leads us towards the end of the event, we will have remarks from the Chelaram Foundation, the award ceremony, and the vote of thanks. I would now, without much ado, in fact, welcome Mr. Atul Kumar Kanuga. Mr. Kanuga is currently the chairman of the Environment Committee of the Indian Plastic Institute. He has been the former chairman of the Environment Committee of Plast India Foundation. Before I hand over the floor to Mr. Kanuga, a request to all present here, please mute your mics unless you are speaking. If there is anything very urgent that you would like to communicate, please write in the chat box. So I would now request Mr. Atul Kumar Kanuga to provide a brief introduction to the competition. The floor is all yours, sir.
Thank you, Srirupa. Thank you very much. Good afternoon and good morning for Vanessa, Mr. Rob and Mr. Sriman Banerjee. Srirupa Sengupta, Assistant Professor, Healthcare Management Member, Center for Social Sensitivity and Actions, has explained in details regarding idea of Make the Case competition. Its journey started in November 2020. Idea for such competition came from Mr. Rob, co-founder of CAPP, Goa Institute of Management, and Indian Plastic Institute. Needless to say that for creating idea for competition took a lot of deliberation between above group. Apart from the Rob, Divya Shrigupta from GIM and Mr. Sriman Banerjee, Dr. Joshi have put up a lot of hard work for the project. Purpose of this competition was to educate students about high impact initiative and create awareness regarding reduction and disposal of plastic waste. The competition has seen participants from many colleges, IITS, Indian Institute of Management, Engineering College, Management Schools, NGO and others. Total 165 teams registered and 16 teams finally made it to the final. Out of 16, again, it was shortlisted to 6 members. And I would rather say it was really a tough job for the judges to finalize the best entries. Today, we will see best showcasing high impact plastic waste reduction initiative in India. I would like to welcome all the judges, panelists, our supporters and participants in grand finale. We are thankful to 2 of our reviewers for the final round are from the government of Fiji and Curacao. Needless to say that without the sponsorship of Jalaram Foundation, Make the Case competition would not have been possible. We are thankful to Jalaram Foundation and we welcome you to witness the event and your comments. This competition is just a stepping stone for further action in the direction of plastic waste free country, a dream of our beloved Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. And lastly, why competition this matters? To bring attention to an initiative that is making a real difference. To share how you would replicate and scale the actions. I would request all the participants to join hands with us to take forward our Abhiyan for plastic waste-free country. With these few words, I request Professor Divya, Chairperson, CSSI, Goa Institute of Management, to take over. It is now Divya to take the charge.
Thank you so much, Kanuga sir, and welcome once again. It's my privilege to present the 6 top teams. But before I present top 6 teams, let me just welcome our judges for the day. We have with us Mr. Vijay Merchant. He is a senior member of the Indian plastic industry with over 5 decades of rich experience. Mr. Merchant is one of the main founders of Indian Center for Plastics in Environment, and he has been at the helm of Environment Committee at Plast India Foundation. Mr. Merchant has worked on several government-appointed committees and task forces and has helped steer projects on recycling and waste across India, working with NGOs, startups, recyclers, and entrepreneurs. He was president of All India Plastic Manufacturers Association, president of Indian Plastic Institute, besides working on advisory boards and an independent director in several companies and bodies during his long career. We welcome you, sir. Mr. Anand Mahajani, let me welcome another judge who is currently heads education and philanthropy for the Jalaram Group with business interest in international shipping and manufacturing. Within the group, Mr. Mahajani is supporting the causes related with education and energy. He is an engineering graduate from Indian Institute of Technology, Varanasi, and Masters in Marketing Management from Mumbai University. Mr. Mahajani is passionate about social and environmental related work and drives several initiatives in this direction. Welcome, Mr. Mahajani. Professor Ajit Parulekar is the director of the Goa Institute of Management and has been with GIM for more than 20 years, prior to which he has worked in the pharmaceutical industry in brand management. A great teacher and a visionary leader. Professor Parulekar has taught in various esteemed institutions such as SP Jain, MICA, IIM Rohtak, University of Antwerp, Kansas University, Southampton University in England, and has consulted with various organizations including Government of Goa, UNDP, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Cummins Auto Services, ACGL, AstraZeneca, and India Post. Welcome, sir. And Our fourth judge for the day is Mr. Doug Woodring. Mr. Woodring is the founder of the Ocean Recovery Alliance and the co-founder of CAP. Ocean Recovery Alliance is a non-profit organization focused on bringing innovative solutions, technology, collaborations, and policy together to impact positive improvements into the health of the ocean. It's my privilege to share Mr. Woodring was the winner of the prestigious 2018 Prince Albert Prize for Innovative Philanthropy for his work with the ocean. We welcome you. Without much delay, let me present to you our top 6 teams who will make a presentation today. And the top 6 teams are Team Aquasquire, Team DTU Scholars, Team Nature's Nurtures, Team Plastic Benders, Team Polytops, and Team Terra. And the sequence of the presentation will be this. Team Plastic Benders will go first, followed by Aquasquire, DTU Scholars, Nature Nurtures, Polytops, and Team Terra. Let me quickly share the rules for the presentation. Each team will present for 7 minutes. And after the presentation, there will be 3 minutes for the question and answer session from the judges panel. PPT will be shared at our end. Mr. Ashley Furtado, my colleague, will share the PPTs. And our working group member, Mr. Shriman Banerjee, will be doing the hardest job, which is a timekeeping, and he will indicate you when the team has 1 minute left and the team has to finish their presentation within 7 minutes. Once the 7 minutes are over, he will again remind you about that. So without much ado, let me welcome the Team Plastic Blenders. The team comprises Yashasvi Grover, Shruti Iyer, and Ankita Adhikari. So Team Plastic Blenders, please be ready. And in a second, my colleague Ashley will be sharing your presentation. Team Plastic Benders, please unmute.
Yes, ma'am. Good
Yes,
afternoon.
ma'am. Yeah, good afternoon. Let's start. Ma'am, could you please play the video? Could you start with the video? Whoever is present.
Yes. This is a virtual environment and the technological glitches are bound to happen. And here you go.
Thank you, ma'am. So I'll start. One winter night in 2016, as Parmita Sarma, the co-founder of Aksha Foundation, was traveling across the suburbs of Guwahati, she saw a group of people huddled together around fires made out of burning plastics. When does the need of a little bit of warmth overpower the damages caused by toxins released from burning plastics? She wondered. The sheer lack of awareness and the abominable living conditions of predominantly rag pickers left a deep impact on her. It was then that she knew she had to do something. No, you can go back to the slides.
You please continue.
It was then that she knew she had to do something about it. That's how Aksha was born. Good evening, esteemed judges, panel members, and fellow teams. We are Team Plastic Benders, and we are going to present Aksha's unique initiative. So what exactly is this initiative, and how does this work? Next slide. Thank you. The school runs on the principle of plastic waste as fees model, where each student has to carry 25 plastic items, which they call samagris, to the school per week, which they then recycle into eco-bricks in the recycling center attached to the school. Students also earn money by recycling. For every eco-brick they make, they earn around 15 to 20 rupees, further incentivizing their education. With plastic as fees instead of money for school and monetary incentives for recycling, burning plastic would not be a stark reality as it is, and students would now be motivated to come and learn. Talking about Aksha's organizational structure, Aksha Foundation currently has around 130 students enrolled in classes from 1st to 10th, and it employs 6 teachers and 1 caretaker. The 2 co-founders head the entire team. The organization is quite flat, and students contribute as per as their capability. And peer-to-peer learning is also a reality here. That is, senior students often teach junior students, earning money and gaining agency in the process. Aksha's output. The initiatives makes around 500 eco-bricks per month from the plastic they collect, which are later used for improving the infrastructure around the school premises. Example, building pavements, gardens, fountains, therefore generating value out of plastic wastes. On the qualitative front, by providing these children, who are predominantly children of rag pickers, opportunity for a better livelihood and giving them agency, it also creates a multiplier effect. That is, not only are the children learning, but they're also taking these values home to the parents. Aksha's aims. Aksha aims at reforming the way government schools functions and are perceived. In the next 5 years, it is set to reform 100 government schools.
Now for the impact. Ma'am, next slide, please. Aksha Foundation is a high impact initiative that creates value in both short and long term by leveraging one of the most powerful tools, education. For this presentation, we have divided the impact into primary and secondary effects and also highlighted the social development goals it satisfies in the slides. Within primary, there are 2 interrelated categories, plastics and education. It is important to note that the education provided in the school is top-notch, which makes the students want to study there. This means a direct reduction of 3,900 pieces of plastic litter per week as fees, which is huge. This litter is then also used and disposed of properly, which means there's a reduction in the carbon footprint as well. Similarly, the children also learn to make and use eco-bricks as a part of their vocational training. Also, because of its peer-to-peer learning model, the children have the opportunity to earn and manage money, which makes them financially responsible and literate. Now for the secondary impact. Next slide, please. Now for the secondary impact. This is divided into 3 categories: environmental, social, and economic. Environmental impact includes better air quality, fewer water drains blocked because of less plastic on the streets, and more awareness among the community. Another significant impact is fewer deaths of animals by choking on plastic, which is becoming a huge concern these days. On the economic front, the initiative has created a local market for plastics, and by virtue, eco-bricks. Plastic education is integrated into their curriculum, which means by educating the children of rag pickers, who were otherwise destined to be rag pickers themselves, the initiative provides them with an opportunity and equips them with skills, thus breaking the caste-based poverty trap. On a societal level, there now exists a symbiotic relationship between the students and the local shops, who are more than happy to give the students plastic waste as it saves them both time and money. Also, all the stakeholders involved now recognize that there is a social and economic cost associated with each piece of plastic, which is massively impactful. Also, as shown in the slides, the initiative satisfies 8 SDGs directly. As such, the initiative is worthy of being replicated.
Ma'am, could you please go to the next slide? So now we speak about the replicability of the Akshar initiative. First, we cover the ease of replication itself. Since the Akshar initiative can be directly implemented in a traditional school setup, it's quite easy to expand from a traditional school setup to execute Akshar. And since it produces a grassroots level effect, it's quite an attractive initiative as well. As far as the resources required to replicate Akshar itself is concerned, there are primarily 3 resources which are necessary. Firstly, governmental support in order to get permission to execute the Akshar initiative in the government schools. Besides, government having a lot of information about the local nuances, which is very necessary to make the initiative successful in these localities. Secondly, Akshar requires industry support to get monetary funding as well as media coverage. Thirdly, and most importantly, human capital is essential to Akshar because it works on a peer-to-peer student teaching model. And so students must be equipped with enough resources to teach each other, which in turn requires very good teachers and human capital. As far as the challenges are concerned, Akshar could probably diversify in terms of its monetary funding, which we will go into in the next slide. Besides having an incentive problem, that is to say that there could be an incentive problem which can be faced because government schools are traditionally free of cost, and so having a plastic fee can prove to be detrimental in some cases. Ma'am, could we go to the next slide?
You have
So-
1 minute left.
All right, so I'll quickly go into the growth strategy. The growth strategy essentially involves investing in precious plastics. That's a machine which takes in plastics to produce products which can be sold. Second, establishing a consistent supply chain. That's basically coordinating with either CSR of MNCs or the municipal corporation to get in plastics to produce these products. Thirdly, we can coordinate with the rack pickers to get their takes on waste collection, which can be beneficial to the students. Now, can we go to the next slide? The next slide we talk about why Akshar is unique and why we are here presenting them today. So firstly, Akshar is an initiative which is able to target two birds with a singular stone. It does not isolate plastic as a single industry, but integrates it along with education, thereby providing a societal impact. Secondly, it targets both the demand and supply chain of plastic management. People start demanding plastic differently because they see students from their communities are producing value out of plastic, and even supplying of plastic changes because it's not broken down into something that's more biodegradable or more environmentally sustainable, but it's put back into the market as something that can generate more value. And lastly, it produces a behavioral shift in the way people think. It rehabilitates students, school dropouts, and students who have other issues into a sustainable school environment, which changes the way society thinks and behaves fundamentally. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Plastic Vendors. And may I now invite judges to ask questions?
Can I ask one question or two questions?
Please.
So just a very interesting model. I had two things. One is the carbon footprint reduction calculation. What did you think about in that case? And the other was, how long do the eco bricks last in the environment once they're constructed and then used in different products?
So I'll take the first question, and I think Shruti or Ankita can answer the second question. So we calculated the average. So there was a website, I think it's mentioned in the case study. So we calculated the average weight of a plastic bottle, which we used as a proxy for everything, and then we had a rough guesstimate of the number of plastic bottles that the initiative takes. So we multiplied the weight of the plastic bottle into the liter pieces, and we got a rough estimate of the amount of plastic that they got. And then there was a website which carbon footprint, which we used to calculate the carbon footprint reduction.
Okay, thank you. And how about the duration of the products?
So
If you
the
know that
itself, yeah, I mean, we don't have an exact figure, but essentially they're used for pretty basic structures like a fountain within the school or sort of a stool to sit on and things of that sort. So in a sense, I think they are sustained for those products for a good amount of time, like I'm guessing 5 to 7 years. But we are a thing that we wanted to think about when we were interacting with the founders itself was how to make these bricks compete on like a commercial level with other bricks. So they're not they cannot compete with traditional bricks, but they're utilized for like lesser for something that's more simpler to build, and they last for quite long for the things that they build, which are simpler, not for construction per se.
Thank you.
Can I ask two quick questions? This is Anand.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Question number one, do you sell these bricks? So do you earn money by selling these bricks? And question number two, which SDG in your mind, take any SDG that is impacted and just quickly explain in a line or two how does that SDG is relevant in what you're doing? Thank you.
So I'll answer
Presentation. That was a good presentation, by the way.
Thank you, sir. So I'll answer the first question. So right now, the bricks they're making they're not sellable per se because they're not very sustainable. That's why you're making the local school ka structure, the premises of school, the boundaries with it. But right now, they are in talks of gaining this machine called precious plastic, via which you can make commercially viable and sellable products. So as of now, the bricks don't earn any revenue.
And so for the SDG question, so I think the first thing that comes to the top of my head is providing good quality education to all citizens. So because it's working on a school model where plastics are taken in exchange for education, it satisfies that particular SDG. Besides, there's also an SDG which provides for clean water supply, and plastic pollutants are a big contributor to that. So that's another SDG I can think of right now at the top of my head.
Divya,
Thank you.
Ask a couple of questions and some comments.
Mr. Sriman, how are we placed as per the time?
Yeah, what I'll request is we can take one question from Mr. Parulekar and Mr. Merchant, and then we should move on.
Sure. First, a comment. I think good, interesting presentation and a nice kind of unique model from the founders. Since I'm limited to one question, I'll prioritize saying what percentage of of the total cost of running do you anticipate will come from the plastics post procurement of all these precious plastic machines that you're recommending?
I'm sorry, sir. Can you repeat the question? I got disconnected. Sorry.
Yeah. So I was saying you're recommending something on scalability, right? For which you're saying these precious plastic machines to be bought. Post that, what percentage of their running costs do you anticipate will come from recycled plastics?
So, sir,
is it going to be something that's going to be meaningful in the financial model of running the institution?
Yes, sir. So the precious plastic already has an existing market. So it's a very standard product that builds out standard products that can be catered to local population, and it already has an international and even international market. So when it is targeted with, if we get, so currently the plastic supply is not consistent and it's not large enough because it's only operating in few schools. So when if we are able to get a consistent amount of plastic supply from the method we suggested, we think that in 5 or say 10 years it could contribute to more than 50% of the revenue costs.
So if I may add, I think we propose these methods of having a consistent supply chain in our growth strategy in order to make it completely sustainable. So the aim is to earn money through creating products with plastic that's collected and through other sources to fund the school. So we don't have to go anywhere else. So I think that was the long-term aim of our growth strategy.
Thank you. All the best.
Can I come in now? Hello?
Sure, sir. Sure.
Yes, Mr. Merchant, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering, it's an excellent idea to get the students involved in this type of exercise. However, don't you think perhaps help from IPI professionals or from CPET would help improve the quality of the products you're trying to sell out? In the sense that things like bricks or things like partition boards or things like stationery items, etc., extensively made in China and other places, have somehow reached a level where the quality is good and people are prepared to pay a higher price. Now, the moment you get a higher price for a product and you have the support of FMCGs and others who want to dispose of their waste collected, I think both ways you'll benefit in the sense that you will get much better supplies. 2, you may get assistance or guidance about using additives or compatibilizers or equipment which will give you better bricks or better partition boards. At the same time, participating in some form of exhibitions, etc., will try and get the message across a wider circle. These are things that perhaps, and you don't have to wait 5 or 10 years for this. Perhaps you could start it in the year itself.
I think that was very important comments, Mr. Merchant, and I'm sure the Akshar Foundation will join, the founders will join, and they will note your suggestions. So now, thank you, Team Plastic Benders, and we move to Team 2, Team Aqua Squad. Adil Rasoliwala, Awais Sheikh, and Sadia Zaveri will make
Hello,
a
ma'am.
presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, kindly let us do the presentation, ma'am, screen sharing, because we have created the presentation in Prezi. So that's why, ma'am. We couldn't share this through email. That's why. It will be more impressive and interesting. So, ma'am, if you allow, then I can share.
Mr. Sandeep.
Yes.
If you can just provide them the.
Yeah, who is that guy? What is it?
Adil.
Sandeep, Team Aqua Squad. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Team, please start.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I would quickly like to introduce myself. I'm Adil Rasoliwala from Team Aqua Squad. Along with me, my teammates Awais Sheikh and Sadia Zaveri. We are from LD College of Engineering and from branch Plastic Technology. Plastic technology consists of all the aspects of polymers and composites. We have taken our initiative from China Eco Unified. Our initiative is to recycle scrap plastic into paver blocks. Let's take a look into a brief information about the initiative. Tons and tons of scrap plastics are collected and sent to a collecting yard where they are then packed and transported to a plastic processing plant. Sorting. The actual plastic recycling process starts with sorting of the different plastic items by their content and color. This process is also done to ensure all contaminants are eliminated. Shredding. After sorting the plastics, the next step is to cut the plastic into tiny chunks or pieces. Cleaning. After a complete separation, the flakes or chunks are then washed with detergents to remove the remaining contamination. After cleaning, melting process begins. The dry flakes are melted down. They can be melted down and molded into a new shape, or they are melted down and processed into granules. The melting process is done under regulated temperature. Making of pellets. After the melting process, the plastic pieces are then compressed into tiny pellets known as noodles. In this state, the plastic pellets are ready for reuse or be redesigned into new plastic products and finally injection molded into the paver block. As you can see this from the figure, let's get into the impacts. There are many impacts of this initiative. Let's begin with the liability. Commercial liability is important to ensure about the general business risk at the same time for successful accepted and accomplishment of the process to produce with government approval. Standard quality. This initiative can maintain the standards and quality assurance of the product during recycling for the local to global. Let's get to the sustainability of this product. This initiative confined to proper and adequate energy consumption to meet the needs of the present market without compromise. Safe recycling. Recycling is a crucial subject in safety. This initiative has thought or a vision to develop a product with a minimal human contact and not to indulge in any health aspect. Outcome. With proper management and effective control over process elements at the end value-added product outweighs the number of the resources expended as output based on the confined process, the outcome will be rewarding. The next slide will be explained by my colleague Sadia Zaveri.
India's mission to reduce plastic waste. It's every individual duty to bring a positive change in this concern. Safe substitute. As the product has excellent bondability as compared to the currently employed material, so it can successfully substitute the ongoing material. Also, it comes with the attractive quality and cost. Growth impact. Considering the economic growth is very important as it is an element of success for the initiative and will lead to increased growth scale. New startup. This initiative is concerned as an ideal for the fresh and the fruitful minds to enhance their potential in this concern. Multiple opportunities. Every single startup comes up with bulk of opportunities to work and experience the real situation of the market and intensifies the skills and experience. Wealth creation. The investment with functional process in needful assets. That's how the initiative fulfill the key need as well. Creation always starts with financial goals. Replicability. Replication depends on the following fundamentals. Metropolitan scrap collection. It depends largely on the size of metropolitan. The initiative have to target with approximate data or research in concern of the scrap generation. Logistic and transportation management. The initiative have to source for conveniently available and effective logistic for collection and segregation. Sourcing. The sourcing has a pivotal and key role in replication as it has to be concerned based on the scale of replication, as success in the project needs investment in precision manner. Governmental support. The government is imparting efforts in plastic waste management with their municipal bodies, and the support is productive indicator in growth concern. Collaboration with corporate. The positive response from civil and infrastructure body of the government and private corporate is favorable for acknowledgement and the established belief over the product. My colleague will explain further.
Hello, very good afternoon, everyone. So let's quickly begin with the Sustainable Development Goals. Basically, SDGs are global goals which were adopted by the United Nations as a universal call to action. In this, economic growth is as the product has a good market potential due to acceptable cost. One can see economic growth in this sector definitely. And the next is innovation in infrastructure. This initiative innovates a unique product which is one of its kind, and the sustainable communities. As the people are affording and accepting this product, it can sustain in communities and market definitely. Now the responsible consumption. As the initiative is using existing scraps of plastics instead of virgin, it's consuming in a very responsible manner with all our proper research and rules and regulations of the body. Aqualife is the recovered plastics from ocean can also be employed in this product without any difficulties and without any problem to face any hurdle. And product can be made definitely. The last one is the life on land. The dumped plastics are collected from ecosystem and employed as a material to create well-being on life on land. So these are some SDGs which our initiative targets. The next one is the uniqueness of our product initiative with product. There are certain influential uniqueness of this initiative. First one is the energy saving. As we all know, majority of polymers are petroleum products, especially polyolefins category. So recovering existing ones or reclaiming the existing ones is the same equal as we are recovering energy from them. Next is the zero scrap generation. It's a uniqueness. In this initiative, there is a zero scrap generation. In fact, the scrap is immediately employed in the product in our factory only. There is no need to manage any scrap and all in this industry. The next is the competitive in market. How our product is competitive, as this product has a huge market potential. It's one of the key reasons of its success. Prevent carbon emission. Carbon emission is also nowadays global challenge. It's a unique feature that reduces the carbon emission through this product. The next one is the flexible product. So basically this initiative is not limited to only tiles or some shape. Our main focus is on acceptable and potential quality. So the customization is there as per the needs of customer, because customer is the person who has to accept that product with the best of his needs. So that's how we have introduced the flexibility and customization in the product. Basically, we are focusing on research on the quality of the product to maintain the quality. The next is the multiple time recyclability. The continuous evolution of research and improvements adds on value to the product, and it's further recyclable. So it still has a potential to recover from the same material, from the same product. The next is the affordable product. as the products are made are affordable and one can accept them as per their need. And definitely they can make the change as per best of my knowledge.
You have just 1 minute remaining.
Yeah. So ma'am, we have done with it. We would like to specially thanks to our organizers, CAP India, IPI, Ocean Recovery Alliance, Shalaram Foundation, and Goa Institute of Management for their efforts in the field. Very special thanks and greetings from our team. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Team Aqua Squad, and over to judges.
Yeah, we would like to leave the screen now for the questionnaire.
Any questions from any of the judges?
When we talk of a better quality of product, have you carried out any relative studies or studies between the existing paper blocks, the life of those paper blocks, and the paper blocks made from recycled plastics? Is there any document or any analysis done which will help you market this thing better?
Yes, sure, sir. We have the initiative has done quite a bit research in this field, and after with the research from time to time, they've adopted and adds the value to the product. So the lifetime is quite more than that those traditional concrete ones or slag one paper blocks we are using currently. So it's as per the research, it's 25 years, but it depends also on the weathering conditions of at what location they are employing the paper blocks. And the bondability is quite well from the traditional concretes as per our research. And yeah, we can use that.
I would like to continue this answer. And also the long-lasting plastic paper blocks depends on the additives we add. So we have added some few additives such as friction resistant, anti-skid, strength additives, and a few more additives we have added. So it improves the quality and also the long-lastingness and durability of the paper blocks. So it can be used for the commercial market and can be long-lasting enough.
Thank you. Are there more questions or should we move to the third team?
I'd like to ask one question.
Sure, sir.
Can you all pick up any one of the SDGs that you've quoted, that you've said there's going to be an impact, and elaborate a little bit more on what's going to be the exact impact? If you have a quantification, that's great. But even if you don't have a quantification, you can get into a little bit more detail. Pick up whichever of the SDGs that you all said there would be an impact on.
Okay, so those were the SDGs which our initiative targets in some of its aspects. Like for economic growth, basically the product has a huge market potential. So we can see how the economic growth happens. Like everybody needs that project to be completed with a minimal budget or with minimal investment. So by using this, one can see economic growth in the project or at global scale also, or some large scale also. Coming to our next point, what is the impact? Is it related to impact, sir? The next question.
It's just one question. So if you say economic growth, where is the economic growth happening? It is just replacing an existing product.
Yes, sir, it is replacing also, and there are possibility of the new startups as well, because there's one of the SDG is innovation in infrastructure. Apart from the paper blocks, we can design many things such as the park benches, tiles, bathroom for public bathrooms, and many things. So it creates the new startup possibilities, and you also know that waste plastic can be converted by adding additives. As per our uses, so it will definitely help the economic growth by creating new startups and also creating the multiple opportunities for the jobs and employment for working in that.
Thank you, Team Aqua Squad, for the presentation. And may I now invite Team DTU Scholars, Neeraj Buddharaja, Pradeep Kumar Meena, and S. Lalrit Puya to make a presentation. Over to you, team.
Hello. Good afternoon, judges and rest of the panel. I am Neeraj Buddharaja, team leader of Team DTU Scholars, and along with my teammates, Lalrit Puya and Pradeep Kumar Meena, I would like to highlight our case study on waste plastics into synthetic fuel oil conversion, an initiative by Rudra Environmental Solutions. Next slide. Coming to the problem statement, we have gone through how people are throwing plastic here and there, and our animal, they are eating it, and when they die, we found this plastic waste into their stomach, and this is becoming a deadly for these animals, and through these animals, it is coming to human food chain also. Next slide. Coming to this theoretical part, that over the last few years we have produced more plastic than we have produced in the last century, and 50% of this plastic is which we just use once and throw it away. And this plastic, if we combine it together, then it will encircle Earth 4 times. And if we see all the thrushes in our ocean surfaces, it is about 90% of plastic. And coming to the degradation of the plastic, it takes around 500 to 1,000 years. That means nearly every plastic of piece of plastic ever made still exists in our environment. And these plastic chemicals, they get absorbed in body, coming to animals, and then they are coming to our food chain also. Next slide. About our initiative, that is Rudra Environment Solution, an ISO certified company that was established in 2009. They convert this plastic to fuel through thermocatalytic depolymerization process, which is developed in-house. And they also manufacture these TCD plants to ensure highest quality. And this is an initiative of Make in India technology, and the plants are very financially viable plants, and in this way they are helping. Next slide. These are the example of plants. Initially in 2010, the Rudra Solution established a plant of first trial of 50 kg capacity. Then in 2014, they installed a plant of 500 kg capacity in Zazuri factory, that is in Pune, and the other plant which is of 300 kg capacity. Next. So coming to the block diagram, which helps in the replicability of the initiative. So initially, this Rudra people, they collect plastic waste from around 30,000 households, and they segregate these plastic waste into recyclable and non-recyclable. These non-recyclable plastic waste are then cleaned and shredded into tiny pieces and then fed to the reactor. And a catalyst is added to the reactor, and heat is supplied. Then through pyrolysis of this plastic, 3 products come out from the reactor, that is gas, oil, and solid residue. Oil is separated and filtered, then stored, and finally it is given to the end user, which are basically poor people from slum areas. And gas, which is purified and stored in tanks, are then again fed to the reactor for heating purpose. This increases the energy efficiency of the plant. And the char is collected by Dough Packaging and the Specialty Plastic India, along with the Pune Municipal Corporation. They use this char with the asphalt to construct road. Next slide. Now the benefits of the plant. It is basically reverse of plastic production, where a thermocatalytic depolymerization process breaks down the long chains of polymer with the help of catalyst into usable fuel, that is synthetic oil. The plant is able to process plastic waste that are non-recyclable, including wrappers, then tiny pieces, and other materials from businesses or households. This will result in diversion of waste plastics from landfill sites, and also the oil which we are getting will lower the carbon footprint. The fuel produced can be directly used for heating purposes, without any further need of processing. And this helps in disposal of plastic as well as production of cleaner fuel. Next slide. Now the advantages of the process, which also fulfill the sustainability development goals that we are, that the initiative is utilizing non-recyclable plastic waste, which stays in our environment and degrade it very badly. Then these processes are economic, eco-friendly processes. Then the technology is very energy efficient because all the products as well as the byproducts are either utilized within the process or used in some other processes. It creates employment, and there are negative carbon footprints because the gases which are generated in the reactor are consumed within the reactor only. Next slide. Now the uniqueness of case study. Disposal of non-recyclable plastic waste by conversion into usable fuel, that is synthetic fuel, and it has a very closer physiochemical properties to petroleum products. However, it is cleaner in burning. Then we can use it in as an alternative of kerosene for slum peoples. Now the gaseous byproduct, it is consumed in the reactor itself, and that is why the process is very energy efficient. The solid waste, which is char, is used for road construction, and it has been seen that use of char with road construction material improved the life and strength of the roads. In short, every end product of the process is utilized efficiently. Now, the last point is that the plant has very less payback period, which is of about 2 years if we go for a large plant. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Team DTU Scholars. And may I now invite judges to ask questions.
Sriman, you are muted. You have to unmute.
Yeah, you can hear me now. That's good. So it's not that all the judges will have to ask questions, but feel free to ask one question per judge. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I'll go ahead because no one else has a question.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, when you're saying the payback period is close to 2 years.
Yes, sir.
For a large scale plant, do you have any numbers that you can show us? Because it seems, fantastic. 2-year payback periods are really kind of very looking.
Sir, the figure is given by the Rodra Environment Solutions, and they are having 2 products, that is synthetic oil and char, which can definitely give a better economy, and the payback period will be around this much only, as per Rudra Environment Solutions.
Who buys the synthetic oil at approximately what price? And
Sir, this has not been disclosed to us. We have just given the payback period time and the properties of this oil. They tested this oil to a private lab, and they gave us the physiochemical properties of that oil, and we compared that properties to the diesel and the other petroleum products, and we found that it is somewhat similar to that.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other question?
One of the things that we've heard from foreign experts from UK, from America, etc., on this issue of using this plastic waste to make oil or make fuels is that certification of safety of gases. Do you have any certificate from Pollution Control Board or from NERI to justify that this particular process is safe for the environment? And the apprehensions that the foreigners had about this process, both in here and in China, can be answered.
Sir, basically, as I said, this Rudra solution, they haven't disclosed these things to us, but they said that whatever gases they are generating, they are consuming that gas because that is the flammable gas into the this plant itself.
Okay. Shall we move ahead? So, thank you, Team DTU Scholars. And now we present
Thank you,
Team
ma'am.
Nature Nurtures. Aarti Desai, Pratmesh Patil, Shalini Mudaliar, and Shruti Belos. Please start your presentation.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So good evening, one and all. This is Pratmesh from Team Nature Nurturers, along with my teammates Aarti, Shalini, and Shruti. Today, Shruti and I will be walking you through our initiative, Kabadiwala Connect. Now, talking about the initiative, Kabadiwala Connect is an award-winning social enterprise that integrates the informal sector in the formal waste management system, or rather the formal reverse logistics system. Through a unique business model and an ICT-based technology, it helps municipalities, brands, and waste management companies to recover post-consumer waste in the developing world cheaply, efficiently, and inclusively. Based in Chennai, India's fourth largest urban hub, it offers a social and environmental model that holds an appeal beyond the country's borders.
Kabadiwala Connect follows following objectives. They help in reducing the waste sent to landfills, integrates the formal waste supply chain, reduces poverty in marginalized supply chain, reduces the cost of waste collection, also digitalize the waste supply chain. KC offers 4 main solutions for segregation and collection of plastic waste as shown here. Mapping helps in collection of compliant data in formal and informal infrastructure in the cities of developing world. Digitalization enables transition-based materials tracking and traceability across waste value chain through digital services. In hyperlocal, reverse logistics solution for post-consumers, waste collection are powered by local informal scrap shops and their waste pickers. Sourcing platform connects informal waste collectors to markets, ensuring that the brand partners gets a consistent supply of waste that satisfies EPR guidelines.
Now let's focus on KC's impact on the triple bottom line, right? So by triple bottom line, what we mean is the impact of KC on the environmental, social, and economic aspects. So Kabadiwala Connect has been successful in diverting around 600 tons of plastic from landfills and oceans, which equivalents to around reduction of 32,65,866 kg of CO2 carbon emissions. Through its services, KC helps reduce operation cost and fuel consumed. The fact that the tricycles are being used to collect the recyclables make it a non-energy intensive and low carbon footprint model. About the social impact, through its smart bin technology called Urban, KC has inspired more than 1,500 households to segregate at source, which is the cornerstone of a responsible plastic waste management. There have been safer and working environments for these groundwork stakeholders, even under the COVID-19 situation. Lastly, there have been increased revenues for all the informal stakeholders and thus strengthening the circular economy.
Kabadiwala Connect fulfills 8 Sustainable Development Goals and set by the UN. This initiative provides recognition to the very backbone of waste sector and provides them with stable income, thus reducing an economical inequalities. Under its hyperlocal service, it has built smart urbans that notifies Kabadiwala once it is full. Its model has been followed by 1,500 households in Mylapore alone. A good start towards building sustainable cities and communities who responsibly consume plastic. It curbs the global climate crisis by recovering plastic and thus stops it from polluting the marine ecosystem. Kabadiwala Connect has partnered with various brands like Unilever, Danone, and Voila through commercial assignments to help them fulfill the EPR guidelines.
Now let's understand the role of Kabadiwala Connect in India's mission to reduce plastic waste. So in this flowchart, we have the formal management workflow, waste management workflow, starting from the waste generators to the landfill. This is where most of our plastic waste get dumped. Now, if we examine why so much waste is being sent to the landfill, it really comes down to 2 big issues. The first is that it is a huge challenge for the municipality to implement proper segregation at source, especially with regards to your small and medium waste generators like your household apartments and small businesses. The second problem being that it remains a very expensive process for the municipality to organize collection of segregated material at a neighborhood level. So in this gap where the formal waste management ecosystem focuses on the disposal of waste into the landfill, there exists this amazing shadow supply chain of stakeholders who are incentivized to source back this recyclable material back into the city. So this is how Kabadiwala Connect acts as a supply chain facilitator by integrating this informal sector ecosystem into the formal waste management workflow, and thus helps in closing the loop more efficiently.
For replicating this initiative, these 5 steps are needed. This initiative can be replicated in any other cities having similar economy as that of Chennai. As KC deals with the formal sector, which is present across India, its replication becomes easier, provided one does proper research and survey. The business model is made such that it can be implemented in all similar waste management ecosystem of developing countries. With proper collaboration throughout the value chain, successful replication of this initiative is possible. Its implementation in Indonesia, Ivory Coast, and Africa, and it will be soon be implemented in Scandinavia, which provides this replicability.
Lastly, let's see what makes Kabadiwala Connect unique, right? So starting from the first one, KC realizes that incentivizing behavior change is a big part of building lifelong recycling habits, which is what it is doing through its services and applications. Secondly, the user-friendly interface in native language makes it easy for all the stakeholders to access the services. Talking about the cost effectiveness, of course, Kabadiwala Connect has led to reduction in operation costs for both municipalities and the businesses as well. Now, automation 3.5. I'm pretty much sure many of you might have intrigued by this term, like what is automation 3.5? By this, what we mean is that Kabadiwala Connect is a business model which provides both tech-enabled solutions and labor-intensive solution. It also generates employment by leveraging the marginalized population as a resource, which is something which important, and we need to talk about this in developing nations. Now, lastly about the recognition and anthropocentric approach. What we mean is that so circular economy is not just about materials, biological cycles, or technology. It's also about the social impact. It's about the people like the Kabadiwalas, like the rack pickers. So to conclude, we just like to say that there are entrepreneurs who can communicate to the audience, and there are entrepreneurs who just want to bring bread on the table for their families. And the Kabadiwalas and the Lapaks of the world do that. So these unsung heroes deserve to be recognized as a central part of the circular economy. So that's all from Team Nature Nurturers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Team Nature Nurturers. And may I now invite our judges to ask questions. Any questions, comments?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You
sir.
talked about interface. Is it based on mobile phone, web? How does one access that interface?
Yes, sir. So Kabadiwala Connect has basically 2 applications called the Hyperlocal and the Recycle app, which is currently shut down for anonymous reasons. So that there's the interface where the Kabadiwala, where all the stakeholders can access it through that application, whether it be finding your nearest Kabadiwalas or whether it be finding your nearest large scale scrap dealers. So that's about it integrates it into one common ecosystem, the digital ecosystem, and it helps us getting efficient rates, and moreover also locating which of the stakeholders are closer to your location and proximity.
Also, there's a separate app made for the stakeholders where it is present in the native language, just as Prathamesh said. So that is used for point of sale device, so that a proper data can be maintained in how much plastic goes into the system and how much is recovered. That is connected to the urban also.
Thank you.
Just one comment. You're based in Mumbai. How did you come across this application based in Chennai, the other end of India?
Sir, so when this competition was initially started, we had to go through a lot of initiatives and research. So this was, and since we are from a packaging background, so it's important for us as packaging engineers, to assess what happens to your products after recycling. So this kind of digital reverse logistics system is something that intrigued us. And we just knew that time that this is something which we should work on.
Thank you.
Can I make a point? I would
Sure,
like
sir.
to understand what is the revenue model in this, how is it becoming sustainable?
Sir, may I answer? Shalini, please continue. Yeah. Sir, has the Sustainable Goal Development, it says decent work and economic growth. It Kabadiwala Connect improvise the living of the marginalized informal sector stakeholders. Also has the climate action, that is reduction of waste to the landfill is reduced. Sir, I would also like to add on to Shalini's point. Taking in consideration the revenue, we do source segregation, wherein if the quality of the plastic is more, its price also increases. And the growth is, it is nowadays seen that waste is treasure. Many people benefit from these businesses. So what they do is that they provide a stable income to the kabadiwalas through this urbans. And the source segregation also increases the value of the plastic recovery.
Okay.
Could I ask one quick question?
Sure, sir.
So who is the one taking it into the other markets, into the other countries? What entity does that?
So there is the team. The team has represented Kabadiwala Connect as we have shown in the last slide. On launch, there was this on launch, then on Dubai Expo 2020, then also on LM MacArthur Foundation. So by this, they get a global, through partnership, they go across, like they go abroad through partnerships, commercial assignments and partnerships.
And for most, I would like to add to it, and for most of the commercial assignments, so what Kabadiwala Connect does there, it doesn't interfere the system, it doesn't do the groundwork. It just try to facilitate it in a more efficient way. So that's what it has been doing in Indonesia, in Ivory Coast, and of course it's in under development in Scandinavia as well.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much, team. Now we present team Polytops. We have two more teams to go: Mridul Khanna, Anmol Malhotra, Ankush Kondol, and Pratish Jain. Team Polytops, please share your screen and you may start now.
Sure. So we'll start now. So a very pleasant evening to all those present here. Today I am Mridul Khanna.
And I am Ankush.
From the team, Polytops are going to address one of the most challenging issues as per current global scenario, which is plastic waste management. The initiative we're going to showcase is plastic waste from roads, started by Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited. This initiative revolves around the fact that some plastics cannot be recycled, making it difficult to clean, separate, and then perform heat pressure treatment on plastic waste for recycling. For this, Dr. Mahesh Kasture from BPCL Noida suggested a model that integrates plastic waste into pre-existing road manufacturing techniques. Now, let us understand this initiative with the help of a short video.
So we choose this initiative because mixed plastic waste was used to make modules, which provide necessary thickness as well as additional strength and additional durability to the roads, as well as making constructions of road cost effective.
So as roads can never be made completely out of plastics, so where exactly is the plastic used? To answer this, let me just brief you about the process to make these so-called plastic roads. First, the end-of-life plastic waste is collected by local waste suppliers, then it's washed and shredded. A concrete mold is made having specified dimensions as per requirements. So flat modules are ideal for commercial preparation, being economical and easy to lay down using a paver machine. And in the molds prepared using concrete, the shredded plastic waste is heat and pressure treated. Around 500 mm depth is dug over the area on which the road will be constructed. Area is made even, and then a layer of stone chips, clay, and sand is laid over to fill minor gaps of the flattened area. And the surface is made even with a roller. This is called the sub-base. Over this, a hot bitumen layer is sprayed, then 1-inch concrete layer is added, followed by plastic modules, which are then covered with an even layer of coal tar, and the surface is worked upon by a roller.
For research purposes, the first pilot-sized road was constructed in front of BPCL's Noida branch office. 3 pilot roads were established in Mumbai, 2 in Cochin, and 1 in Kolkata. This research was implemented to bring the road resilience and weathering resistance under a range of climatic conditions. These studies demonstrated that construction of 1 kilometer long and 6-meter wide road implies the use of about 60 metric tons of plastic waste, which is a huge quantity of plastic waste. It was also anticipated that these roads could easily last for more than 8 years without incident.
So while making these roads, we have to be certain about the properties. So during construction of road, hot bitumen is poured over the modules, subjecting them to high temperatures. For this, thermal analysis and the tests like DSC and TGA tests are performed on modules to determine their degradation and glass transition temperatures. It was found that the modules are stable below 500 degrees Celsius and won't be affected by hot bitumen. Modules placed in the roads will be subjected to periodic loading as well and stressed by the movement of vehicles. Hence, mechanical properties such as stress, strain, and compression modulus are calculated using the universal testing machine. Strain value increases as the plastic moves towards the viscous state, and there's a slow decrease in compression modulus. Denser the packing of the material in roads, better will be the strength. So the density of the roads can be calculated using the sand replacement method. Roads with and without plastic modules have similar densities, implying that the strength of the road is not negatively affected by the addition of modules. Roads get deflected when vehicles pass over its surface. The extent of deflection can be measured by the help of Benkelman beam deflection method, which measures the vertical deflection of the surface of the roads. It uses a measuring beam under a constant 5-ton load of a rolling object. The deflection produced on the roads with and without plastics was found to be similar.
While talking about environmental and social impact, plastic road building will help to reduce the volume of plastic waste that is dumped in landfills and processed in incinerators. Less open landfills reduces the growth of fruit flies and mosquitoes, which reduces disease transmission. The mixed plastic waste collected from the surrounding region is used to make plastic modules, which substantially reduces the amount of contamination in streets and rivers. It would also improve the aesthetics of local city, making residents happy and perhaps attracting visitors. If a lot of plastic waste is shipped, there is a risk that plastic waste from the waste pile will spill off the transport media during shipping, resulting in accidental litter formation, resulting in pollution. But as in this initiative, the combined plastic waste is used to produce the modules, which is collected from local waste suppliers, resulting in less plastic transportation. On the basis of these 2 points, we can say that this process comes under the Sustainable Development Goal of clean water and sanitation. As the majority of landfills in India are open and the mixed waste from the residents is directly discarded there, and there is no provision for separation or segregation before dumping. So there are chances that pieces of lens or glasses would concentrate the light rays at a particular place, which leads to fire, resulting in greenhouse gas emissions. But as in this initiative, huge amount of plastic is used, it would somewhat reduces the effect of climate change and contributes in decreasing global warming to some extent. This process is cost effective than normal roads, but employees were required for various purposes like separation of plastic waste from metals, organic waste, and waste other than plastic. So various investors may also invest to collect waste from water bodies or from other locality, which will generate employment. And on the basis of these 2 points, we can say that this process can somewhat contribute to Sustainable Development Goal of climate action and zero hunger.
Now, a question arises in all our minds. If there are road construction techniques, then what makes this initiative unique? Well, the plastic module layer in the plastic roads prevents bleeding of water for road surface, which is common in bitumen roads. This water bleeding can damage the roads and develop cracks on the surface, thereby decreasing their strength. Easy and on-site production of modules using all types of mixed plastics makes this process very efficient. The modules are lightweight and can be easily transported in bulk. These roads can help replenish groundwater table as well, using porous top layer and modules with punched holes, which allow rainwater to seep into the soil layers below. The amount of plastic used per kilometer is exorbitant, and this initiative is the first one to use such a large amount of plastic waste to construct roads, and this process is much more economical than normal bitumen roads. The only pre-treatment required here is the removal of metals and shredding waste plastic. So the plastic road also requires very less to no maintenance for prolonged periods of time, thereby saving the repair costs post-construction. In the end, owing to the uniqueness of this project, we can conclude that plastic roads is a much better option than conventional bitumen roads with vast scope of generating employment and opportunities. This brings me to the end of our presentation. Thank you very much. We highly appreciate your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, team. May I quickly invite our judges?
Sure.
If I could ask a quick question.
Sure, go ahead, Doug.
You know, a lot of people, you mentioned microplastics and your avoidance of that because of the way you collect it, which is great. But some environmentalists also worry about the road wear and tear and the microplastics that will come out of the asphalt. Others would argue that it makes the road stronger and therefore you don't have that problem. What was your analysis on that, and how would you defend against the environmental concern of extra plastics being on a roadway versus the benefits that it might bring to a stronger road?
The thing is, as we said, that the modules are present below the top layer. So there is minimum contact of the vehicle's tires with the modules. So there is very less chance of generating microplastic due to friction and other things.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, team. Now we move to our last final team, Team Terra. Kanchan Krishan, Sagar Mukherjee, Namit Chadbar, and Abhinya Santakumar. Over to you, team. You may please start your presentation now.
Thank you, ma'am. So good evening, everyone. We are Team Terra from IIM Visakhapatnam, and here we are to present about Rudra Environmental Solutions and how it has been and can be a successful and sustainable model for curbing the exponentially rising plastic waste in India. Next slide, please. Okay, so established in 2009 by Mr. Sirish and Dr. Mehta with a goal in mind to reduce and convert plastic waste into consumable fuel and other products, Rudra focuses on social transformation through innovation, where the polyfuel generated through their unique patented zero-emission thermocatalytic decomposition process is sold at a cheaper price than the conventional fuel. So an initiative which was started as a backyard model today has recycled up to 750 tons of plastic in the Pune city and has been supplying the fuel to households and farmers in nearly 30 plus villages. Every ton of plastic waste that is processed generates 500 to 600 liters of polyfuel, 20% of synthetic gas, which is used back in the TCD process, and 10% of char, which is left as residue which is used as fillers in road construction. So here you can see the detailed explanation of the TCD process and its requirement. Next slide, please. The impact created by Rudra is multi-pronged. So social capital is generated as the initiative is completely community driven to make the community more plastic free. It aims to provide full fuel access and availability to the farmers and working opportunity to BOP people. And human capital is created by generating employment for 12 to 13 people for every ton of plastic being recovered. And in terms of market capital, they can be classified as a hybrid organization which emphasize on social value as well as profitability. Rudra employs women at the plant for the segregation of the plastic waste and as well as for conducting awareness drives. And at BOP level, rack pickers are employed for the collection of waste materials from malls and supermarkets. So Rudra also conducts awareness programs to ensure active participation, leading to high community engagement. And the initiative has prevented emission of 9 million kgs of carbon dioxide. Rudra tries to address the sustainable goals of no poverty, affordable and clean energy, bringing innovation in the industry, building sustainable cities and communities, and improving lives on land and below water. Next slide, please. So generally, social enterprises addressing a social impact inside a business operation is not necessarily cost neutral. So the skills needed to deliver on a social impact and the cost involved in doing so needs to be considered. So we performed a detailed analysis of Rudra's business model and tried to include the commercial aspects and also the factors that help in creating the social impact under each component of business model canvas, such as key partnership, revenue stream, etc. And we can get back to the details of this slide later in case there are some queries. Moving ahead. So before we look into how Rudra can help solve India's plastic problem, let us first look at how intense the problem is. So India currently generates nearly 26,000 tons of plastic waste every day. Almost 50% of this plastic waste is discarded after single use, which actually litters the country's roads, rivers, and form huge mounds in the dumping ground. The balance 9,400 tons of plastic is left unattended in the environment, which causes pollution. So we observe that Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Karnataka, UP, and Telangana are the top contributors to this cumulative plastic dump. And as per a Bangalore city survey, food packaging, personal care, and household product contribute heavily to the plastic problem. And rather than considering this as a problem, Rudra has taken it as an opportunity to solve. And Rudra's capability of manufacturing customized waste management solution, including pre-processing, fuel generation, and usage solution in various capacities, could help solve India's plastic problem. And the implementation of this solution in major industrial hubs can actually help in reducing 9.46 million ton of plastic waste annually. Moving ahead, Kanchan will take over.
Thank you, Abhinaya. Now, next, over this slide, let us gauge the replicability and the scalability of the solution. Now, moving ahead for Rudra, there are two options: either partnering with the local bodies, where the company narrows its focus only on core operations of conversion of waste into polyfuel, or manufacture customized TCT plant and provide waste management solution to corporate clients, establishing themselves as a PRO. But to scale up, certain challenges will be there, which needs to be overcome. Now, these may include developing strong local expertise and overcoming the regulatory measures, the establishment of a robust waste collecting system, creating a polyfuel marketplace, and the risk of product being black marketed or misused. Now, the resource needed will include financial, such as investment required for equipment, logistics, and plant setup, human resource like capable leadership and workforce, and better control over the network. Once the company has acquired all these resources mentioned right now, the solution would help curb the plastic problem that we are eyeing at. Next slide, Namit. So now the biggest question is, if we are planning to replicate the business at a national level, is the same financially feasible? Post an ROI analysis of the various plant capacity, what we get is that the 200 kg plant has a gross profit margin of 17%, the 300 kg plant with a margin of 31%, and 500 kg plant with a gross margin of 40%. Now, all these financial calculations are based on conservative assumption with a single batch operation per day. Now, we can operate multiple batches per day, which increases the gross margin proportionately. Now, the entire model is immensely applicable post the government EPR regulations of plastic waste management rules for corporates and mandate for the road construction, which has been put into place. Next slide. So coming to the finally the uniqueness slide, where we want to highlight what is so unique about Rudra and why we consider it to be a revolutionary step in changing the plastic problem in India. Now, their philosophy states the first step of successful plastic management is to change habits of people and change their focus with regard to plastic waste. The model follows 6-point agenda of creating awareness, individual level segregation, routine collection, communication to communities, incentivization for contribution, and waste recovery. For any business enterprise to be successful, it has to be environmentally sustainable, socially inclusive, and at the same time economically viable. With the entire process being energy efficient and zero emission, Rudra has created a new equilibrium which helps companies and government bodies to carry out circular economy practices. The polyfuel generated has sulfur content less than 18 ppm, which categorizes it under the category of ultra low sulfur fuel oil, which makes it safe fuel for usage. The availability of cheaper fuel to BOP people help rural women break free from burning wood and plastic as a fuel substitute. And reverse engineering and converting back to polyfuel that has a high calorific value can be used by industries for running equipment, which in turn reduces dependency on the conventional fuel. Thus, Rudra is truly a sustainable solution that we feel can accelerate India's mission to eradicate plastic waste and improve the life on land and in ocean. Thank you. And we'd like to extend our gratitude of thanks to the two founders, Mr. Sirish and Dr. Medha, for their immense support throughout. Thank you all.
Thank you, Team Terra. And now I hand over the space to our judges. This was our last presentation for the day. Any question for this team?
So Divya, I think we can go ahead. The teams presented very well.
Great. So thank you to all the 6 teams, and so once again, thank you to all the 6 teams for sharing the high impact plastic waste solutions. And we know that if we need to achieve Agenda 2030, we all need to collaborate and create an inclusive, sustainable society, and of course, work towards circular economy. So compliments to all the teams. Now I hand over to Professor Shirupa for further proceedings, and I request judges to kindly email the scoring sheets. Thank you. Over to you, Professor Shirupa.
Thank you, Professor Divya and Mr. Sriman. Thank you for the nice moderation. And of course, once again, my best wishes to the top teams. So while the fate of the teams get decided, it is now, we are going to move to the second part of the event. We will now hear from the founders, the co-founders, the directors of these initiatives, what was their thought process, how do they look at their own initiatives, and what is it that, and how their initiatives will actually make India a much better, cleaner country, and of course, a more sustainable country. So with that in mind, I would now request Mr. Rob Stair to start the panel discussion. And we have a very enriching, engrossing, and a very distinguished set of panelists. So I invite Mr. Rob, who's the co-founder of Commitments Accelerator for Plastic Pollution, to take over and initiate the panel discussion. Over to you, Mr. Rob.
Thank you, Sharifa. Unfortunately, I cannot share my screen at the moment. So Sandeep, if you can.
I will, I think. I'll see.
Give me permission.
Yeah.
But first, before as we wait for that, I'd like to thank and commend all the students. Let's see, share my screen. Still can't do it. It'd be great to be able to share my screen.
I have shared it, Rob. Maybe you can go ahead.
Okay, well, I'd like to commend all the students for all their hard work and effort, and I hope all of you have found the process to be interesting, educational, and rewarding, and that all of you can use this competition to get involved in solving India's plastics waste problems. As Sharifa said, my name is Rob Steer, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Commitments Accelerator for Plastic Pollution. And we are a new organization under Ocean Recovery Alliance to help support, facilitate, and incubate initiatives that reduce or prevent plastic pollution. I'm excited today to moderate today's panel for the next 25-30 minutes. And as you heard from the 6 student presentations about their selected initiatives, now we get the opportunity to hear directly from the doers of these initiatives. And for them, I'm sure it must be very rewarding to see students presenting their many years of hard work. The format for this panel is simple. As we don't have much time, I'd like to ask a number of questions. I'm going to ask a question, and then each panelist will provide an answer, hopefully in about a minute, so we can get to as many questions as possible. And to get started, I'm going to ask each panel to briefly. Stop share. Can you? Okay. Let me just get the. Okay. You guys can all see my screen? Yes.
Yes, Rob.
Okay, so I would like to ask each panelist to please introduce themselves, their organization and role, and most importantly, why they do what they do. So I'm going to start with Parmita Sarma, as she needs to leave in about half an hour, so we wanted to get her to answer as many questions as possible. So Parmita, hopefully you're here, and we'll get started to answer this question. Introduce yourself.
Hi, Rob. Thank you for having me. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Great. Good evening, everyone. And I'm Paramita Sharma from Akshar Foundation. We run schools for underprivileged children in Guwahati. So we have a model where we blend academics with vocational training. And we start training underprivileged children from a young age for vocational training so that when they are 18, they are able to be independent. Our motto is we employ child labor to end child labor. Now, when we started our school, we saw that a lot of kids were going outside to work because they were required to because of their financial situation at home. So because of that, we started employing the students at school to teach the younger students and to learn different kinds of vocational training and earn some money in the process. So yeah, that's briefly about what we do. Regarding the plastic part, I guess I should mention that we have a recycling center as a part of our vocational training at our school where all our students are required to bring in plastic bags every week. And our older students recycle the plastic bags after school hours, make it into eco-bricks, and they do small construction. So this whole program also keeps the children at school because they can work and earn at school, and that helps them continue their education.
Great. And why are you doing this?
Well, you know, the situation of our country, most people are below poverty line. So how do we solve the poverty issue? I think that to do anything, or we believe that education is the best solution to solve the problem of poverty. But then how do we go about doing that? So, well, when we started the school, again, we had this goal of education in mind. But when we started working, we saw that there are many different problems that have to be addressed. And if we don't have a holistic approach, then we cannot really contribute to the issues. Because if a child is hungry, what good is education if the kid can't feed themselves? You know, if they have a severe health case, then what good is education because they are just suffering? So our school plays a role where the school is like a community where we address the different needs of the children. And we are hoping that this way we can give the children a way towards a good life. And now our goal is that we have a model in Guwahati, in Pamohi, and that model is working great. And now our goal is to replicate our model in different government schools so that we can provide quality education to every child in India.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Ganesh Kumar and from Kabadiwala Connect.
Ganesh? You can state as KC maybe. Can you guys hear me fine?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm Ganesh. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Kabadiwala Connect. So Kabadiwala Connect, leverages the informal sector. We see them as a great infrastructure to integrate into the formal waste management practices so that we can build efficient, inclusive, and more decentralized model of waste management for the developing countries. So that's what we do. Why I do this, it's interesting because I have an engineering background and I started my career as a developer. And when the founder of the organization Kabadiwala, he pitched this idea, and I was pulled into this whole idea of social enterprise. And the idea of using technology to create some sort of a social impact and also touch lives of some of the marginalized stakeholders is actually what drives me every day at work. So as an organization, we are actually looking forward to solve India's waste problem holistically and reduce the amount of waste and plastic specifically going to the landfills. That's about it.
Great. Thank you. Dr. Kastur, are you here?
Yeah, very good evening, Mr. Rob.
Great.
Good evening, all the panelists. I'm Mahesh from Bharat Petroleum. Bharat Petroleum is known as a 500 fortune company in India, and we are in oil and gas. And now the world is traveling toward clean energy. So even in hydrocarbons, we are refining fuel more and more in order to get a cleaner atmosphere. Likewise, as far as the plastic is concerned, we have started this project with the aim to develop a product out of a waste. In fact, I would like to add one more thing, that not working in waste management, but I'm working in the management of that thing which is even rejected by a people, those who are working in waste management. So adding value to the end product and making it a best product which can be utilized in road construction, that to give a benefit to the road sector. That will add value finally to the product, which usually people are calling as a waste. Ultimately, what I would like to prove that there is nothing waste on this planet. What is the role of a scientist? How to add a value in the waste and get value out of it for the best and make our nature clean.
Thank you. Dr. Patrika.
Hi, Rob. You can just call me Medha, not a problem.
Got it.
So I'm Dr. Medha Tadpatrikar. I'm the co-founder and director of Rudra Environmental Solutions. Basically, I came accidentally. So I call myself accidental environmentalist. We had not gone, there was no focus when we started that we will come into this area working with plastic. Seeing a deer killed in one of the wildlife sanctuaries had a lot of impact on me and my co-founder. And that's why we started finding out what can be done. And our aha moment came when we saw a piece of ice melt into water, and it was just a simple thought: if the water turns to ice, ice turns to water, can we do exactly the same thing with plastic? Not having the engineering background or a chemical background, it was a lot of hard work, and now we have reached where we are converting predominantly thin plastic, which is usually does not have any monetary value and usually gets thrown out. So our main focus is on a thinner plastic, and as well as changing people's habit, because we have seen that no kind of brilliant technology you can have, but it will not work if you do not have a support from the community, if there is no segregation at source. So our focus is on teaching people as well. At the same time, we are helping with this fuel various villages where they still are burning wood or a plastic, and there are around 52 villages where we give this plastic fuel as a to be used instead of a kerosene. And why you do what you do, I think the cause has chosen me to work on plastic. And I think once you start working on it, and when you see there is a little bit of impact of the work you are doing, I think you want to carry on. Thank you.
I hear that. Now, Mr. Saluja, are you here? If you are here, if you can unmute yourself, then we can hear you speak. Calling Paris, is he here? Wow, okay. Well, hopefully he'll be joining us shortly. We go to the second question. Paramita, or to all the panelists, do you think India, which I will define as its people, companies, and local and national governments, do you think India is going in the right direction in preventing plastic waste? And can you share a positive highlight that you've seen, and also an area that you'd like the Indian governments and people and companies to improve on? And you're muted.
Well, I would like to say yes, that we are going in the right direction, but honestly, that's like far from what the reality is. Like plastic consumption is increasing every day. Like everything that we buy is wrapped in plastic. And we are a developing country, and development comes at the cost of the environment. We have more and more people coming out of poverty every day, and that means that they can consume more goods. So there is an increase in the consumption of plastic. And India doesn't have a good waste management system. Recyclable is not profitable yet. So we are quite far from, tackling the problem, unfortunately. But there's hope. We can do this if all of us coming together and work on this like single-mindedly. So we are hopeful that there will be more changes. And regarding what you said about the positive things, all the cases that I saw here, they're all doing wonderful work. So everyone is doing great work in their own capacity. And I think this may be one of the ways to motivate the government to make the change, because ultimately it's going to come down to the government. The government has to do this. The government has to invest in this and encourage people to do this and give benefits and subsidies so that people are more encouraged to do this kind of work. So yes, we are hopeful, and we hope that we can solve the problem definitely. And we are on the kind of right path, if not exactly on the path. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Ganesh, would you like to add and unmute yourself? Great.
Yes, sure. So yeah, my answer is again, yes, absolutely, that we are on the right path. And one thing I would like to highlight is like, I'm someone who believes that, like Paramita said, that policy has to drive change in a country like India. And the EPR guidelines that have come out right now, I feel is very promising. we may be late, but better late than never, right? Like, so I think it's going to create some positive impact in the recycling supply chain, because now you suddenly have the corporates, the brands, and the resin manufacturer wanting material to recycle. And it's also like, looking at, we personally feel that, informal sector is a great way to actually source this material back and recycle. So I think going forward, it's going to eventually lead to a lot of business models that are going to emerge for recycling, for recovery of waste. And also from, I do see, because working on the ground, I do see some change in the mentality of people. People are becoming more and more, responsible consumers, to be honest. Maybe it's getting better every year. It's not the best yet, but then it's getting better. So I think all those put together is going to be very positive, and next 10 years is looking like, next 5 to 10 years is looking very promising for the recycling industry, and how we're going to solve this problem. So yeah.
Great. Dr. Kasser?
I agree with the panelists. We are on the right track, and there are several organizations across the country are working on this issue and trying to address this issue. Some organizations are trying to convert it to fuel and add value and utilize the plastic in that sector. Some are converting into some kind of product, and some people are working in a different areas. However, in order to make it a business, at the end of the day, what matters is the balance sheet. If the last column of the balance sheet is not positive, that any initiative if you take, it will remain within the framework of either development, and it ends there. So in view of this, any initiative we are starting, we should look at its commercial angle, with the commercial angle. Who are the people, who are the end users? And looking at the volume at which the plastic is getting generated, what I think the end use has to be substantially higher than that of generation. Then and then only this problem can be tackled very well. So in my view, it has to be a sustainable business rather than having some kind of a small model working in some corner of the country for certain type of product. Let's have it a business, and only if it happens in the terms of business, then it will sustain, and this problem can be tackled very well. Then government is supporting, even other initiatives are also there, like Dr. Megha is there. She's working in these areas, adding value by means of converting into fuel. Whether that fuel is to be used in what kind of application, how it is to burn, it will take little time. But definitely this is a value addition to the plastic. Likewise, unless and until it is a sustainable business, this problem cannot be addressed with a very, very small kind of solution. Support, definitely government is supporting. There is no doubt about that. However, at the end of the day, it has to be a business. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yes, it is going on in a positive direction. The government is coming up with new EPR guidelines. There is a lot of awareness because of Swachh Bharat mission of the government. At least people are aware that there needs to be a segregation at source. And I've seen that in last 4 or 5 years, people have started talking about the waste, especially plastic waste. But having a ban is somewhere I am a bit skeptical about, because plastic is a brilliant product. Let's not forget that. The moment it turns to waste, that's the problem starts. And unfortunately, there are no systems where, when Ganesh is working, there are other few companies are working, but we are all working in kind of pockets. We all need to get together to see the better impact. So there has to be a system where it works pan-India, not in the pockets. And, and we have to look at plastic waste as a raw material rather than looking at it just as a waste. And, I think there are a lot of people who are working in the plastic industry for a long time. And, we are learning from them, because a lot of us may not have the better ideas. I think the government is doing a lot of things for a prevention. Unfortunately, treatment of a plastic is, again, not many places it's getting treated. There are a lot of companies who are informal. They need to be formalized because they're doing brilliant job. Cases like that needs to be publicized, and people need to understand that there are many kind of technologies that can work. Like Dr. Mahesh was saying, they have to be financially viable, sustainable. If it is not, it becomes a hobby. So we need to look at that as well. And governments needs to support in that, so that the technologies can work, government needs to invest as well. Right now there is a tendency that the government usually says, yeah, you can invest yourself, and you can start a project. But the moment government or local government starts to invest in various technologies, it becomes easier to expand. And if you ask me about one positive highlight, because one of the things what we do is create awareness and teach people. So during the last COVID lockdown, more than 98% of the people did not throw plastic waste onto the regular waste, or they kept it almost 4 to 5 months in their house, which was brilliant, because it means that whatever positive impact, whatever we have created, is ingrained and they have not forgotten. So it was easier. And we found that in last year, the amount of people who joined as a segregator have increased tremendously. And I think every day is an improvement. So I think we are all going to see a lot of improvements, but the communication has to be there with the government and all the stakeholders. Thank you.
Well, I think your answer basically was an affirmation for what we're doing with the Make the Case competition, and also for CAP. Our goal at CAP is to bring the community of people like yourself together and to find other like-minded stakeholders who want to share your good ideas and spread them throughout the rest of India and the world. So thanks for setting me up for being able to take Mr. Saluja's half a minute of his time, which I'm wondering if he's here at all.
Hello, Paras sir is having family emergency, so he's absent.
I'm sorry, he's here?
Paras sir is absent due to family emergency.
Oh, okay, so he's not here. Okay,
yes.
So we'll go to the third question. Sorry, he couldn't be here. Third question's rather long, but as I said, a key reason for creating the Make the Case competition was to bring global awareness to initiatives like all of yours. So let's assume by snapping my fingers, I have the power to instantly create 100 similar initiatives of yours in the world, and all have proper funding. What would be the impact, and how would this make a difference against plastic waste? This is your vision expanded greatly, which is what CAP wants to do. So Paramita?
Yes. So, well, our goal, we are going to start working in 100 government schools in the next 3 years. And we want to have a plastic recycling center in every school. So our idea is that if students learn from a young age as to the harmful effects of the plastic or what they need to do from the environment, and they learn how to do it, we give them the tools for that, I think we can make about a significant difference. Our goal is to make every school into a community center where the students bring in their plastic waste from their homes, the local community contributes to the plastic, and the students work on different machines and recycle the plastic. So we are going to start getting the precious plastic machinery, if you guys are aware of that, where they recycle plastic into different beautiful products that can be sold into the community. So that is our goal, is to train the students to make different kinds of plastic products, involve the entire community in the process, where the community actually makes the effort to segregate the waste, because you won't be sending dirty waste to children, right, to recycle. So we are hoping that that motivates the people to segregate their waste properly, so that we get clean waste coming to the schools. And if every school becomes a recycling center where the students are learning and tackling the waste problem at the same time, we think that that can make a significant impact. And that is what our goal is.
So you can economically scale each one?
Yes, exactly. That is also our plan, that we want to start selling the products into the same community from where we are collecting the plastic. We will make a lot of useful things like potted plants, for just the pots for plants, which can be made from recycled plastic. We can make different things that the community requires. We can cater our products based on what the community needs. And that also keeps the children in school, because these children, they otherwise have to go outside to work. So by tackling one of the issues in the, our current issues that's going around, we think that the children can be given the tools to deal with that, generate money in the process, and also keep them at school.
How receptive has the students and the parents and the community been to each effort you've done?
Well, in the beginning, there was difficulty for the segregation, because it's like the community that we are dealing with, they're already very poor. On top of that, you put like an additional burden on them to have clean plastic and separate the plastic. So it was a little difficult, but then we started telling the kids that this is a free school. So if you want to study here for free, you either send in plastic waste or you start paying money. that got the parents really motivated. Then they would like, okay, we'll rather pay in plastic than give money. So we are hoping that in the government schools also, where we will start replicating, we want to teach students from a very young age about this. They also start bringing in the plastic and they learn to recycle it from a young age, because I think that our main job now should be to equip children to deal with the problems of the world, which is what we are not doing. We are only like grown-ups are focusing on this problem, but are we the next generation? No, we have to bring up the children properly so that they know what to do with. And if we can equip children at a young age to deal with the problems in the world, and not just plastic, but different issues like refugee problem is going to be on the rise, you know? So we have a lot of impending issues that are coming towards us, but we are hoping that we can teach the children how to solve the problems, give them the tools, and then they continue the work. We're also hoping that we can equip the students to come up with different ideas to solve the plastic waste, because if they are involved in this from a young age, they can come up with their own creative plans. And our job is to equip them with the different tools so that they can solve the problem.
Great, thanks. So Ganesh, answering the question, but also give a little bit of input of that, why your system is different than some other informal waste picking systems out there. You created 100 of yours. Now, what's the impact?
Yeah, so the core philosophy of ours is the informal sector. Like not many of people in the industry look at informal sector as a resource or an infrastructure. So that is where we actually differ. And we strongly believe that in a country like India, and actually the informal sector is across Southeast Asia, Latin America, Africa. So you see them everywhere, right? So it's highly scalable that way. And the first idea is to reduce the waste that's going to the landfill, right? Like our survey in Chennai gave us an insight that 24% of the recyclable waste that the city generates is actually being recycled by this informal sector. But there is a potential to take that up to like 70%, 80%. And reduce the kind of waste that's going to the landfill. So that is the first thing we feel, if you replicate this across, you're going to have a significant reduction in the amount of waste that's going to the landfill. Secondly, deploying the waste pickers for the last mile collection of municipal waste is an interesting model that we're looking at as well, right? So if we do that, this is something that has been implemented, in Pune and places like that, which we think is highly scalable. And that can also give some sort of a cost saving, which we believe is up to 20% cost saving for the municipality, which is few thousand crores that we're talking about. Third, solving this whole problem of recycling, right? Like the biggest disadvantage of collecting from the informal sectors, you have no traceability in the supply chain. You don't know who's involved, how the material came in. And our digitalization solution, the primary focus is to bring in that traceability in the informal supply chain, and it is catered to actually develop for the informal sector. So that way we believe that we can solve the feedstock problem, bringing in traceable volumes to the processes, to the recyclers, the different technology that's coming up, which needs material. Like there are technology to recycle, but how we are going to get the material to them is a big question, which we think we can solve. And finally, the most important is improving the livelihood of these guys. They've been doing this for 100 years already in a country like India, and they still haven't really seen a great growth. So this is something we feel, we can strongly build up the revenue. We'll be seeing a lot of people coming out of poverty, getting more dignified labor, better livelihood, and all those things in the supply chain. So this again is an advantage I see, if we replicate our model.
So let's assume I have a blank check and I said, pick another city and how much money do you need to get started and how long is it going to take and what's going to be the impact?
Yeah, so that's
your best case next project in India that you could get started.
So I would gladly pilot our collection. Like I said, we have different products, and I would actually go for the municipal collection, which is something that we would like to prove. Right now we're doing it in a very small scale, and we're doing only at plastic. So I don't know the exact number. To be honest, it could be let's say a few millions, and to deploy for a city, right? Like a city like Chennai, to actually take over the entire waste management supply chain and do it with the informal sector. So in Chennai alone, we have 2,000 scrap shops, and the waste management is actually organized by wards, which are smaller administrative boundaries, and there are 200 of them, which means technically there are 10 shops in each of these wards, and it's very easy. This decentralized nature is actually enables us to easily deploy the system across across the city. So that is one thing. That is something we would love to try if given a blank check.
Great. And then since we're having this conversation and Medha's, Rudra can take your plastic that you already collected for her, we get this Make the Case competition. We get a commission on all you guys. You're connecting with each other and making a big business and going into Chennai and doing something great. So
Yep.
I just want to put that out there in case it actually happens.
Sure thing.
So Medha, what your question, answering this question, you've been around for 10 years, and I'm sure people look at you and say, "Wow, why haven't you done it in 10 years?" But I think there's been a fundamental shift in the perception of companies like yours. Now is the time where versus 10 years ago. So how would you, if you were able to expand this into 100 different places, what's your answer?
Basically, like you said, we have been doing this for 10 years, but we actually became, came into market after 2017 because it took us a lot of R&D, in-house R&D. So if I look at it in the numbers, it could be if I have to do this in 100 places, even if it is a small place, if you just look at the numbers, it could be more than per annum, more than 100,000 to around 400,000 metric tons of plastic can be recycled. And you know how much the carbon dioxide emission is saved. So it will be more than 1 million kilos of carbon dioxide emission saved. But not only that, with that help, all the traditionally non-recyclable thin plastic is what gets monetized. So it makes people not to throw all this wrappers, all the MLPs and everything, and it creates a value for them. Not only that, it affects the community because they get a cleaner fuel at a cheaper rate. So not only it affects the rack pickers, home buyers, but it will affect, use of the cleaner fuel as well. And, 100 places, it's going to affect the community as well, where community starts looking at this plastic as a recyclable value and not throw. So we will see the change of their habits, and we will see that into whole ecosystem. And my last question will be, how do I get you to snap those fingers?
Well, I think the answer is Dr. Castor will have his will have thousands of miles of roads, and some of the profits will go to help fund organizations like yours, because that's how I would do it. So
because we are our machines are financially viable, even the smaller machines. So we have made sure into this as because if there is no financial viability, the businesses usually do not have the sustainability for a long time. So we had made sure that there is a viability. So people, the ROI is between 3.5 years to 4 years, even lesser than that. So, but I would still feel that, it can stand the looking at the, thin plastic and the impact it will have, it will be tremendous, without, not going into the numbers, but it will have effect on emotional, psychological, and everything of the society. That's what I think.
With our connection with the Indian Plastics Institute and the level of commitment that they've given to us, I hope that we'll be able to leverage our competition here for the benefit of every organization that has participated, not just the 6 here or 5 here, but also the other ones, that we can actually start more of a conversation and process, and hopefully we can do it through CAP. So Dr. Castor, sorry for skipping over you by mistake, but I do think you have a unique opportunity because you're such a large company with the ability you've already piloted these roads, and obviously there's huge roads around the world. So what is the impact of your system compared to a lot of other, as Doug had said earlier in the Q&A, there's a lot of people have tried this, and there's what would happen if your roads become real and expand? You're on mute. You're on mute. You're still on mute. And you continue to be on mute. There you go.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
As you are aware that any product to become a popular product in a market, what is the most important thing is how user-friendly it is. And there are so many ifs and buts in this plastic area that mixing all sort of garbage, different kind of plastics, variety of circuit conditions, collection, speaker, all this is what we have given that. Adopt all kind of mixed plastic. Probably this is the first product where there doesn't have any raw materials specific. This is the module developed, which is a mix of all kind of plastic. And if you see the presentation, the volumes per kilometer, if I take a road width of 6 meters, 1 kilometer length, I am consuming around 50 to 60 metric ton. Another important advantage of this process is that once this plastic is gone, it is permanently gone. It will not come back. It will be in the road forever. So that part you have already taken care of. Imagine that if you put a 50-kilometer road with this, the entire city will be cleaned. Another thing is that this can also be done at different places, that too with a minimum infrastructure. What you need, a machine to prepare a module. You don't require any exorbitant or very sophisticated or hi-fi machinery to make all these things. Simplicity, that is one thing. Second thing is that why the person who is working in the road area buy my product? Just to say that I have utilized plastic in the road, what benefit is going to get? He should get some benefit out of this product, and they are getting the benefit that their roads are getting protected because of the capillary effect, the water which is coming from the bottom. Now, what we have done, we have already proven this model across India. You see, we have done it in North, we have done it in South, we have done it in East, we have done it in West. Now the first commercial road also we have implemented in Noida, wherein there is a traffic of huge volume going on, that road is open. So this model is very, very easy to replicate almost across every country. It is not a geographical dependent model. It can be replicated very easily. Important thing is that you need a very less manpower, very less investment, and getting rid of the problem. I think what else you expect from a technology like this? And if all the facilities like funding and everything is available, definitely this problem can be handled at local level itself. There's no point in carrying the garbage from New York to Washington and then process. It is processed in Washington itself, and New York garbage should process in New York. That kind of process has been done. I hope that if this technology goes anywhere, it will definitely going to take a good shape, because every country needs road. Every country is building road. Second and important thing is that the application is not limited to road. It can be used even in footpath. It can be used even in walkways. It can be used even in gardens. Everywhere it can be used. The road why we have chosen, because we would like to prove our technology under extreme severe conditions. And if something is proven under extreme severe conditions, it can definitely work on normal conditions.
Rob, can I just add into Dr. Mahesh? There is a lot of things, not only plastic goes, but there is a lot of saving happens because you're using less bitumen. And what Doug was saying earlier, that what will happen if the plastic gets mixed in the road? Let's not forget bitumen is also a hydrocarbon product. So, the amount of plastic what we use is hardly there. It's less than a 10-12%. So, a lot of people have that perception that is going to affect the environment, is going to affect the, the soil and everything. It's not. So, it's one of the best things that can happen with the roads. And there is a government GR, which states that all the, major roads needs to use plastic in the, making of that road. Unfortunately, it's not, there is a less of awareness and education of the people who make the roads, but, all the SOPs are there from the government, and it's been implemented in many areas of India as well. So I think this kind of a technology would work anywhere. Thanks.
Sharipa, I'm unsure how much time we have, but if I can have 5 more minutes, I can do rapid fire.
Rob, we have Mr. Nitin who has joined on behalf of Paras Saluja. So if you have any questions for him, he's the representative of China Eco Unified.
Sure, I would be happy to why don't we start from the beginning? Or
I think you just have 5 minutes more to sort of maybe take his views and then.
All right, you know what? Then I'm going to go to the last question because it will give him an opportunity to kind of talk about the organization.
Very sorry to interrupt, Rob, but I do have to go. I have another meeting at 6 p.m.
Yeah, I tried to get you in the last question.
I am so sorry.
I think you answered it pretty well in the last round. So why don't we go with the gentleman from the China Eco Unified to be able to answer this question, which is, where do you see your own organization going forward over the next 5 years related to the initiative the students focused on? And would you like to expand where you currently are if you had more resources? So this kind of gives you a few minutes to introduce yourself and also talk and have this question answered.
Thank you, Rob. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nitin, and I head marketing and alliances for China Eco Unified. We're a 3.5-year-old company based out of North India. What we essentially do is we recycle and upcycle plastic, and we've been able to make paver tiles out of which have been extensively being used in the government infrastructure projects, as well as we are making recycled plastic boards out of MLP, which is a big nuisance on the streets wherever we go. And I'm very proud to say that till date, we've been able to recycle 8 lakh kilos of plastic in the last 3.5 years.
So where do you see the organization headed over the next 5 years? What's the vision? How do you expand in India?
Sure. So, the current government is very, very bullish on development of infrastructure. More than 35 cities are under the Smart City project, and there's extensive work on upgrading the infrastructure going on in all these cities. So we encourage the government to help us, make a change to that city by utilizing our products. While utilizing our products, they are not only, buying a better product, but at the same time, they're tackling the problem of plastic pollution. How we foresee ourselves going in the next 5 years is we are adopting cities, and we are in talks with a lot of municipal corporations where we will adopt cities, take care of their plastic waste, and give the plastic, give the recycled products back into the society, wherein plastic gets properly utilized without littering here and there, without landing up in a landfill, without ending up in the ocean or ending up in a water body. And this is the way we want to go. Secondly, we are also tying up with a lot of corporates, wherein, thanks to the EPR policy, a lot of corporates have now begun to work on the sustainability model, and they have started being responsible for all the pollution, plastic pollution menace that they've been creating. So we are tying up with a lot of corporates. We are disposing of their plastic effectively, efficiently, and giving back products which can be used easily within the society or within the economy.
I'm going to give you another minute, and then I'm going to turn it over to Sharipa, because I think we have a time crunch to kind of finish on time, and we gave everyone a pretty good opportunity, the other panelists, to talk about their companies previously. But what do you, if you were to, expand, as you said, into your next city, what would be the cost and payback for what you do? And how would you, if I had that blank check and I could give you money, what's your steps to go to that next city?
So the kind of technology that we use, it's pretty capital intensive. It's not something that can be, that's economically very, very viable. What we essentially need is, when I say capital intensive, it's still, by far very cheap as compared to the plastic menace that we have already created on the face of this planet right now. But having said that, roughly 5 crores is the investment that we need in INR. and a couple of cities, in the epicenter of which we can open a unit which can take care of all the plastic waste that is getting generated.
Great. Sharifa, before we go, does anyone else in the panel want to add anything about the competition and what you heard, and hopefully how appreciative you were of the students?
Yes, I've looked at two of the teams actually represented our case, and looking from somebody else's point of view also gave us a different insight as well. And we thought something like this is a brilliant idea, because not only it makes the students aware, which is the next, that's why we are all doing work, so the world would be better for them, and they need, when they are passionately doing something, and you guys are giving them a platform. So I think it's a wonderful initiative, and it's giving companies like us a platform as well to showcase what we have been doing, and it's a brilliant insight for us as well. So thank you very much.
Anyone else? Ganesh?
I would like to say, on the same line of Dr. Megha, I should congratulate you. In fact, it is a necessary step you have taken, that the students are doing all these things. So they are getting acquainted with the real ground problems. What are the real problems? And from here, they will take it up. And second thing is that, can we make a system, something like that, for example, Dr. Megha is working on conversion of plastic to fuel. And so Ganesh is working in certain areas. Can we make an end-to-end type of chain, that somebody is collecting, somebody is processing, after processing, whatever left will be going to a road. So from generation to utilization, and finally net zero, what we call the net zero technology. Can we make something like that?
We'll connect offline after this, definitely. I'll connect with all of you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Ganesh?
Yeah, just to add, I think just picking on point Megha made, giving a different perspective, right? Like I had a couple of calls with these students, and they had prepared their own set of questionnaires, which is not, like something typically you'd see from an investor asking or anyone else asking. So it was very interesting to just answer their questions and I had to also rethink and how I'm going to say this answer, and those kinds of things. Very interesting. And they presented it beautifully, I think. It was very interesting to see someone else. We've been doing that for like years together, right? Someone else actually do our pitch. It was very, very refreshing, very interesting.
Great. And Nitin, were you involved in the process? Could you add anything?
So my colleague Paras was intensely involved in the entire process, and he's spoken volumes about how these kids are thinking beyond what we have thought already, and how they're way ahead of what we are already doing, because we came to realize all this in this particular age, but they've been seeing this way before us, and they are much more aware of what is going on around in the world. So the opportunity to tap into these minds, these young and fresh minds, has been an amazing and learning experience for all of us. And we'll be more than happy tomorrow to see these guys emerge as future leaders, and taking the baton forward and create a bigger difference than what we all are doing currently.
Awesome. Well, Sharifa, I'm going to turn it back to you. Thank you so much, panelists. It was as good as I was hoping.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob, and a big thank you to all the panelists for sharing their insights, experiences, great words about the students, and it was indeed a pleasure listening to all of you. Well, the students have to, I know the suspense is building up, but before we announce the results of this great event, this event wouldn't have been possible at all without the generous support of the Chelaram Foundation. So before we go on to announcing the awards, I would request Mr. Anand Mahajani, who's the head education and philanthropy of the Chelaram Foundation, to say a few words about the evening and also about the competition. Mr. Anand.
And you are mute right now.
Thank you, Dr. Sri Rupa. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Mr. Anand.
Yeah, I will just make 4 quick points. And the point number 1 is wherever you are designing any initiative that is aimed at Mother Earth, it's very difficult to communicate the benefits to participating people or communities, because for the simple reason, they want to know what is in it for me. So sometimes they believe it is not for them, or they're not clear how it's going to benefit them. So getting a buy-in for a initiative aimed at Mother Earth is very difficult to drive. Point number 2, if you're driving it for silent stakeholders like animals, fish, birds, it's still more difficult to communicate the benefits. So it's been very difficult. It's been very difficult to drive such projects. And the only thing that will come to your help is technology. And we saw some of the NGOs, organizations using technology very effectively. The third point is, I think, how do you scale it? Once you probably get your pilot right, how do you scale it? Scaling is very important. And someone on the panel said only sustainability will make all the difference. And I'm a fan of using the word sustainability. Unless it is sustainable from every possible way, financially, economically, etc., it's not going to go forward. And the fourth point, which is very important, is a lot of these initiatives are driven open-ended. I think you have done a great job of linking it to SDGs and pinning it down with SDGs in terms of which SDGs it is impacting, how it is impacting. In fact, we also heard people asking questions about putting a number against a particular initiative. So impact using SDG is a very good idea. Lot of budget in India is spent on CSR initiative, and for years I've been actually doing it on my own, linking it to SDGs, and now companies are coming forward and linking their even CSR initiative with SDGs. So it's a good development, and I think that's a good step. So I think it was a very good initiative driven by all of you, and I'm very helpful that I think we could be associated with this. So it was a very good initiative, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. Just recently, there was an article which I would like to bring to your notice that Hindustan Unilever, which is the Indian subsidiary of Unilever, is going to be plastic waste neutral by this year end. So even companies are also ensuring that they're plastic neutral. So you may want to reflect on effect of such strategy in your own NGOs or your own business models. So with that, thank you all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Anand, for your words and your insights. Now it is time to declare who won and what under which category. So I would now invite Mr. Dog. He's the founder of Ocean Recovery Alliance and the co-founder of CAP. I will hand the floor over to Mr. Dog to do the honors.
Thank you very much. I'd like to give a big round of applause to all of the competitors. And, you know, as you said at the beginning, we started this only in pretty much November, in a trying times of the world. Then the holidays came. All countries are facing different stresses, and the fact that all the students could get together and find these programs and bring them to the level of interface that we have today, really hoping to share these, and as you said, the replicability, scalability, sustainability. So big thanks to Sri Rupa and Divya and the Goa Institute of Management, IPI, the Chelaram Foundation, and of course Rob for really driving all of this, my colleague at CAP. So I'm going to start with the award categories. For those of you who might not know that we had different categories, there was a few different categories. So the top 2 finishers in the category, which is called Limited Resources and Social Enterprise. So that was for projects that were related to social enterprise or which had limited resources in the way they were running. And the top 2 finishers are a team named Finishers and a team named Management Gladiators. So congratulations to both of you. For the business category awards, this was programs that were business oriented. Not that the others weren't, but it was from companies as opposed to social or community or different entrepreneurial projects. The two teams were Team Aqua Squad and Team DTU Scholars, the top two business category awards. The top two awards for the NGO and the informal sectors. So these were programs that really focused on NGO and informal sectors. That was the Plastic Benders and Team Dinsuka and Friends of the Earth. I think there was a tie there. So there was a tie for one of the places. And now we will go into the overall winners. And I have to say that in a way, it seems like I'm judging something on microplastics here because the score is so close. We're down to the multi-decimal points, and everyone gave a great presentation for the defense of your programs and your cases. But I will start with third place and go to first place. So overall winners for the Make the Case competition, first inaugural event, was Team Terra with a total score of 81. Congratulations, Team Terra. Second place with a score of 81.05 goes to Team Polytopes. So congratulations to you. And the first team in this year's event, Make the Case competition, with a score of 81.1125 goes to Nature Nurturers. And I have to say, all of you have great programs. And again, congratulations. We hope some of the people watching, some of the press, some of the government, the IPI can expand some of these programs within India and even outside of India. And others can take this example. We will be replicating this competition in other regions. And so we're very proud to be working with India as the first country to be doing this Make the Case competition. Thank you very much for coming, everyone.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Doug, for doing the honors. And now to the last part of the event, the vote of thanks. I'll invite Dr. Samir Joshi, the Honorary Secretary of the Governing Council of Indian Plastic Institute and an expert in waste management in India, to please give away the vote of thanks for the evening. Mr. Joshi, please.
Thank you can be said in many, many ways, but the real thank you is the one which comes from the heart. Vinaka, as they say, in some country, Merzi, as in some country, Arigato Michika, in Japanese, Marsha Danke, in some country, Ganzani in China, as they say. We are grateful to all our supporters, participants, and many, many people. I would like to mention their names. Mr. Vijay Marchand, Professor Ajit Parulekar, Doug and Anand Mahajani are judges. The CAP reviewers, Arno and Siman and Upendra Kumar, Professor Avik, Professor Bhanu, Professor Khaya, Professor Padmanabhan, Professor Manas, Professor Prakash, Professor Bala, Professor Rajesh, Professor Rohit and Ashley from Goa Institute of Management, then Ishwalia Madam, Dr. Radhakrishnan, Professor Shenoy, and Jayan Kamath from IPI, our chairman of Indian Plastics Institute, Mr. Hariram Thakkar, the Zars and Zarinas on the panel discussions today, our support team from various institutes, Sandeep Shinde, my colleagues at IPI, and everybody. Thank you. And I thank you to all the participants also and the viewers also for being with us. Over to you, Madam, again.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi. Once again, I take this opportunity to thank the Chelaram Foundation and the Chief Finance Officer of the Goa Institute of Management, Mr. Ashish Marathe. Mr. Ashish would actually send the prize money very soon to the participating teams. To the teams, the certificates will reach you shortly, and also you would be informed about your award money. On that note, it's been a great evening. I think it has finally come to an end. From November till March, a lot of learnings for each one of us. And once again, a thank you to everyone. And I think we'll meet again, hopefully, sometime this year. So congratulations to the ones who won. And nonetheless, participation is all that matters. I mean, that's very, very important. And let's join hands and contribute more towards the SDG Decade for Action. Thank you. And good evening, good night, and maybe early morning for some. Bye-bye.
Thank you.